We're going to have more analysis from this right now from James Roy, Associate Principal of China Market Research. You actually are in Shanghai, so you're a perfect person to talk to about what the mood is there specifically related to technology and Windows. And your company wrote a number of reports on the record about how serious this situation really is. Explain to us, first of all, why Windows and why not other tech firms?
Well, thanks. It's great to be here. Well, first of all, it isn't just Windows. However, Windows really is a very big, very visible, and as your correspondent was talking about, extremely widely used system in China. So there's other companies that are facing heat in China right now over security, but Windows being as dominant as it is in OS is certainly a big target. Now, one thing to notice is that a lot of the attention here is being focused on Windows 8. And as we've seen, Windows 8 is not really all that widely used in China right now. Microsoft is actually still selling Windows 7, and then many companies continue to use Windows XP, although that the service has run out on that. So Microsoft has continued to operate. It's not as if all of their products are not being used anymore. It still has some business in the country.
All right, James, I mean, your company basically advises a lot of multinational firms when they're doing business in China. And as you can imagine, I'm sure you're telling your clients the same thing, doing business, whether you're in Germany or in the United States, is very different than doing business in China. If you were advising Microsoft in this particular instance, what would you tell them they should or could do that perhaps might change the situation?
Well, it's a tricky thing to do. I think again, it's having limited contact with the government, can make things challenging. But what you might have to do is really be in touch with the people inside the government that are in charge of procurement and work out with them how it is that you can fix the security issues that are giving them concerns that will get them a bit more comfortable with using your products. Now, so that's really the tack that you have to take. And then in the meantime, that they can provide support to their other products that they're already providing. Now,
there is some talk in some technology circles that China itself also wants to develop its own operating system as well. I'm wondering if you're hearing a little bit of the same thing, and if so, do you think the likely possibility, at least in the near term, they could possibly do that? And ultimately, that would be a competitor to Microsoft.
I think that's definitely something you'll see going forward. However, in the near term, there's not really any serious threat from the Chinese side in terms of OSs. Windows is just too dominant. What you may see is some shifting away towards some more open source solutions. So for example, Ubuntu, or maybe just even continuing to use older versions of Windows. The issue is, the same thing that made Windows dominant early on continues to be so. It has that network externality where you have a lot of people using it, and so you need a lot of other people to use it for the compatibility.
So I asked Chris the question whether or not this was politics getting in the way of business. You insinuated perhaps there is, obviously that relationship does matter. Let's say Microsoft doesn't have good relations with the government or for the people who are in charge of this. Is there a way they can improve those relations, and what would you tell them to do exactly?
Well, again, I think the answer there really is just closer communication and understanding what the specific concerns are and how it is that they can address those. So it has to do with talking with those relevant people that are in the government that are going to be making those decisions and understanding what their real concerns are.
Chinese companies trying to get into the U.S. have sometimes claimed that they've been treated unfairly. Now, this is the reverse of that. Some U.S. companies are claiming that they have been treated unfairly. When you go out and you talk to your clients, what is the mood that they have? Are they worried about potential retaliation? Are they worried about just getting business done in China? Or is it something that perhaps they're not thinking about as much as we're talking about it?
Well, the clients themselves are much more concerned about their customers here. But in terms of these overall issues, you're definitely right. There are a lot of other companies that are being targeted here, and the cybersecurity is definitely a big issue, not just in China, but all around the world, as your correspondent was talking about. Especially when you get into cloud computing, servers, databases, anytime where information is being stored in some other place, you're going to have concerns about the security of that information. particularly in light of the revelations from Edward Snowden last year.
Yeah, it's a complicated issue. James Roy, thank you very much for us, live for us in Shanghai, Associate Principal, China Market Research. Thank you.